Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw.
Did you know that spells that move around the board under their own control are called defectors? So, as you can see here, we have the Assault Suit, Homo Defector, and Corona False God. They all have abilities where they change control from player to player. And with our commander today, Kain Traitorious Dragoon, he does the same thing. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I'm your host, Commander Claw, where I bring you 5 cards about or work well or synergize with the commander on your screen. And thank you for watching. Big shout out to y'all. Without y'all, wouldn't there be where I'm at in this YouTube channel and this YouTube journey? And shout out to Final Fantasy because I think this is a game breaking set. And I think this commander is super cool because it is one of, I believe it's like 15 cards that are defector type of spells. Give me 1 second. I'm looking it up real quick. I can give you the exact number. Sorry, 47 spells have the ability of defector, where they move from control from player to player under their own control. But without further ado, let's get into this commander. This commander is awesome. It's mono black. He is for 2 and a black, 2/4 body, legendary human knight. His first ability is jump. During your turn, Kain has flying. So that means a 3 mana, 2/4 creature on your turn has flying. Not bad. Not bad. So on your, next turns, he is an invasive creature. Pretty cool. Next ability. Whenever Kain deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of Kain. If they do, you draw that many cards. Create that many tap treasure tokens, then lose that much life. So, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I'm asking you, right? What are we doing here? So, pretty much, we make an invasive creature on your turn, and it's a high probability that we can connect for combat damage to a player. And when we do, we get to draw cards equal to its power and create that many treasure tokens, but lose that much life. So we are drawing cards, mana ramping, dealing combat damage, and losing life. That's a lot. That is a lot. That sounds like very mono black, where you putting players into situations. Mono black in this set, it is intriguing. I'm wearing mono black. That's why it's very intriguing in this Final Fantasy set. They're doing a lot of powerful things. Off the off rip, I'm thinking about making this a Voltron commander because you know if you hit your opponent for 10 damage, you get to draw 10 cards and make 10 treasure tokens. You might lose 10 life killing yourself, but for mono black to be able to ramp that fast and effectively and replace your hand, that's astronomical. So let's get into cards that you should add. And the first one I think is going to be very overlooked, probably not even mentioned on EDH Rec. Let's talk about it. For 2 and a black, we're going to play Come Back Wrong. It is a sorcery from Duskmourn. It says destroy target creature. If a creature card is put into a graveyard this way, return it to the battlefield under your control. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. Okay, so look, think this is a pretty good card, right? Let's say Kain is on the other side of the battlefield, under your opponent's control. It's your turn because you got to cast this at sorcery speed. You destroy him in your main phase, right? You put him in the graveyard, but he comes back to your control. Okay? Sacrifice him at the beginning of your next end step. Now, the question is, does he have summoning sickness? He should, because any other time, any type of ability like this says the creature has haste. So, you might need to add an haste enabler for Kain so you can attack with him after you destroy him from an opponent's side and get him back to your side. The reason why I'm bringing this card out because you kind of want to manipulate who has control of Kain. You just don't want to always attack somebody and let them have a minimum 2/4 mana ramper, hand replacer, and lose that much life, and Commander damage? Come on, man. That's high risk, high reward. That's what this commander is. Glass cannon, high risk, high reward. So tread carefully. Come back wrong, I think it really works. I think it really works. Moving on. Now, if you're looking to cause chaos, I think this is the card for you. Endless Whispers for 2 and a 2 black, an enchantment. It says each creature has, when this creature is put into a graveyard from play, choose target opponent. That player puts the creature card from their graveyard into play under his or her control at end of turn. Now, this is for all creatures, not only Kain, but if Kain is on the battlefield and when he goes into the graveyard from play, you get to choose target opponent to take control of him. And guess what? He's on their side at the end of your turn. But guess what? Maybe another opponent wants to take control of Kain and they bolt him or hit him with a couple burn spells. That opponent who's controlling Kain gets to choose who gets to control Kain. Yeah, so this could just be a fun little game, group hug, mono black group hug. I'm not even sure that's a thing. Is there enough cards to support mono black group hug? Possibly. And I think Kain and Endless Whispers work well together. Moving on to the next card. Now look, there's going to be a time where you're playing Kain and you need to connect for combat damage. You need to replace your hand and you need to mana ramp. And it's worth losing the life. Well, make them unblockable. That's why you got to add Dothie's Embrace for 2 and a black, an enchantment. Tap 2 black mana. Target creature gains Shadow until end of turn. If he has Shadow, that means other creatures who do not have Shadow cannot block him. Only creatures with Shadow can block creatures with Shadow. Cool. You swing with damage. This is where it gets really good. Let's say an opponent has control of Kain, and you make a deal with them. You can create deals. You can politic. You can say, hey, I'll let you swing. If you swing at him, I will make Kain gain Shadow. That way, that player can't block him. Because guess what? Players do have flyers. If your opponents do not have flyers, I don't know what to say. They got to consider flying, being able to block flying creatures. Otherwise, they're in trouble. But yeah, what I'm trying to say essentially is you can help Kain move around the board by giving him Shadow, whether it's Kain is on your side or under your opponent's control. That's where Dothie's Embrace gets nasty. Moving on. So now Kain's benefits are awesome, right? You replace your hand and you draw cards. But, if an opponent gets to swing with Kain and they got to replace their hand and they got to make treasure tokens, that's just like a gift. Why be that friendly? Don't be that friendly. I'm recommending Last Laugh. Last Laugh for 2 and 2 black is an enchantment. Whenever a permanent other than Last Laugh is put into a graveyard from play, Last Laugh deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. When no creatures are in play, sacrifice Last Laugh. So, this is really good for those players with those treasure tokens and they want to sack them for mana. That's right, those treasure tokens are permanents and they go into the graveyard. All those token creatures go into graveyards unless they get exiled. Only exiling stuff will stop this card. Otherwise, any permanent that goes into the graveyard, fetch lands, sacrificing an artifact to do an ability or trigger, or creatures dying and going to the graveyard, is going to trigger Last Laugh. And guess what? This is like a nasty pestilence off a sacrifice or death trigger. Not bad. I think this card is a nice little haymaker in the right timing for Kain. So I think the biggest thing when you're building this deck, you're probably going to lean into wards, making him Voltron, and adding the most common and most powerful artifact equipments. Only thing I say about that is not all of them are mana efficient, right? They're not going to work on curve as well as you think. And a lot of the popular artifact equipments are very mana intensive. Well, I have an answer for you. Ace's Baseball for 2 mana, artifact equipment, legendary, of course. Equipped creature gets +3/+0. Says as long as the equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked by a Dalek if able. Equipped legendary creature for 1 mana, equipped 3. Wow. So, pretty much, if you have this equipped to Kain, he will become a 5/4 flyer with first strike and pretty much unblockable unless an opponent has a Dalek out on the battlefield. That's not often. That's not often. So that means when you decide to swing with Kain, you get to draw 5 cards, create 5 treasure tokens, and only lose 5 life. Imagine doing that on turn 3, turn 4. Ooh, not bad. I got another card for you. So, going with the theme of being a trader, Kane's got to move around the board faster. And sometimes, even if an opponent controls him, they may not want to attack with him. Well, why not force them to attack? Here we go. Bloodthirsty Blade for 2 mana, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and is goaded. Goaded means it attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able. Pay 1 mana. Attach Bloodthirsty Blade to target creature an opponent controls. Activate only as a sorcery. So therefore, you can just have Kain attack each combat. And, it's group slug. Everybody's happy. It's a 2/4, actually a 4/4 flying around, hitting everybody. Everybody's drawing cards. Everybody's creating treasure tokens. But everybody's losing life. Everybody's losing life, whether they like it or not. So it makes me wonder what kind of gameplay is going to happen. Will your opponents eventually remove Kain or keep him on the battlefield? And if so, how long? So, Kain, Traitorious Dragoon, I think is a really cool commander. Group Slug in my mind. Defector commander. He's going to move around the board. He is rewarding and penalizing at the same time. Of course, you're not going to like to lose life. But if an opponent who controls him decides to attack somebody, they get to lose that much life too. So the stronger he is, the more devastating he can be. So, without further ado, I'm Commander Claw. Thank you for watching this video.